if you'll take out your cell phones, and if you've not already shut them off, the sound, please do that. And good evening. We have a great show for you tonight. Who's here for the first time? We do have a few. We know you're going to have a great time. You're going to come back. You're going to bring all your friends, and you're just going to love it. Let's welcome some of the clubs who would to join us tonight. Let's welcome the TGIF group. Come on, let's welcome the Baby Boomers. That's them. The Bocce Club. The Lawn Bowlers. The Pickleball Players. That's better. The Rainbow Club. How about the Rock and Rollers? The Saddleback Church. The Old Pros. And of course the Golfers. Tonight we have a really big show. Not one, not two, but three comedians. And after that, please stay seated with us. Join us for dessert and a cup of coffee and a little conversation. The servers will bring around your tables, pass them out. If you're short a dessert or two, just wave and the server will get it to you. Also, if anybody has hearing issues, there are... There's devices in the office that can help you with that. And now, Joey returns. Joey has appeared almost every place. Television, from the original Gong Show, which she won. She has appeared at the Improv on stage, at the Coach House, and venues, large and small. She loves her audiences and connects with personal knowledge and insight. She loves us so much, she goes out of her way to help us. She's even shown us why, at our age, it's not necessarily good to exercise. So now, let's give a great comedy club welcome to Joey's return. Joey, Sam.
all my own stunts, even if it's not on purpose, you know what I mean? Okay, I wrote this thing for 3 days, and I didn't think much of what was funny, so we'll see what you think. I think you all heard about my accident. My smooth move in the Zumba class with the big finish. Can you hear me? Well, then who's talking? I work alone. Okay. Yeah, I jumped up in the air to do this big, sexy finish. I've been doing Zumba a long time. And then when I got up in the air, something weird happened. The shoes wouldn't bend. I fell on my left side of my back, then I actually bounced because under those wood floors are cement. And then I fell on and I broke 4 vertebrae. So anyway, then 5 gorgeous paramedics came. They were so cute that truthfully, this is how nuts I am. All I could do was think about, I hope I have lipstick on. So the one guy looked me up and down and he says, I don't think you should try to break in new golf shoes for Zumba. I really didn't know. I left in a hurry, and instead of wearing my Zumba shoes, I thought, well, you know, I really need white to match these tights. So I grabbed these brand new $100 golf shoes. I forgot they don't have cleats anymore. And I might as well have worn skis. I mean, it was they don't bend. Golf shoes don't bend. Anyway, the first day, my daughter took me to emergency, and we went every day for 3 weeks, once a week. And in emergency, the x-ray machine did not pick up any of the fractures. So you all gotta remember that. The first time they're so traumatized that sometimes the x-ray machine doesn't pick it up. But I went back the following week, and they found 4. The second week, my blood pressure dropped to 80, so I had to go to emergency. And I had a CAT scan, and then they found out about the fractures. So they don't always find out the first time. And they said I would be in acute pain for 8 to 12 weeks, and there was nothing cute about it. And the third time in emergency was really exciting. My daughter said, now just take a nap, Mom. You're in a safe place. Har, har, har. At that point, some giant bodybuilder, this is all true, he jumped off of his gurney. He looked like he was about 6'5", and he was screaming about all the injustices that had been done to him his whole life. And he was yelling and screaming and rolling that pole, that IV pole, all around. And I'm right out there as close to him as you are. And everybody was yelling, put it down, put it down. Well, he didn't put it down. It took about 30 guys to put him down. They called the fire department and the paramedics. He had what you call, what is that thing when you're an athlete?
Roid rage.
That thing that makes you have muscles, you know. This is like a quiz show. He had a steroid rage, right, yeah. Anyway, my gurney was out there very close to him, and I said to my daughter, who I couldn't see, but she was behind my gurney and underneath. And I said to her, he just said he's going to take somebody with him. Now, pull me back and put the curtain. I don't want to go with him. And my daughter says, Mom, with all the hot-looking young women that work here, you really think he's going to take you? So she was even a good comfort to me and close to death, see? And then after all those people got him down, they gave him a shot as big as my arm. And she had to go out and have a drink. She was so upset. And I got to lay there and watch to see if his foot moved again. So she had to have a drink for her nerves. Anyway, now I'm alone while she's gone. And I heard the loudspeaker say, cocaine overdose coming in, 33. I yelled and screamed so loud that I finally got admitted to the hospital. And that's when I started getting better. But isn't that a riot? And I had really good care. I brought my nurse here, my therapist. I've had such good care with Monarch and Scan and Memorial. I want you all to be really, you may not want to go to emergency, but the rest of it is good. And that's enough of my illness. It seemed to be all I could think about, so I decided to write about it. But I met this guy, and I don't think I ever told you, but I stole his wheelchair. And guess who came crawling back to me? Can you believe how hot it is?
How hot is it?
It's so hot that I flew a kite and it crashed and burned. It's so hot that I saw a squirrel fanning his nuts. That's the X part of the show right there. And then I wanted to wish you happy Halloween. That used to be the scariest night of the year, but now it's election night. I always say election, election, erection, erection. Any way we get screwed, so. And then I wanted to tell you about Halloween. I had a grandmother that raised me, and I was always told, you do not talk to strangers, never take candy from them, and be home before the street lights come on. So on Halloween, she dressed me up stupid and poor and crazy, gave me a pillow slip and said, go knock on doors in the dark and get candy. No wonder we weren't screwed up, right? Anyway, even then I wondered what a trick was. Nowadays, the kids show up in expensive costumes and they say trick or treat. But they don't stop there. They say, I'm gluten-free. And I'm lactose intolerant. And I'm allergic to nuts. And do you have vegan chocolate? And nowadays they even say, do you have gender-neutral candy? And then why do so many manly ghosts have so much trouble dating? Why? Because women can see right through them. And I want to tell you, I love my Alexis. Judy bought me Alexis, and I love her. I mostly just ask what the temperature is, but anyway, they're coming out now because they're worried. My daughter won't have an Alexis because she said they're spying on you. Well, my house is an open book, who cares? But now they're coming out with one called Alex. They won't spy on you because they won't listen. And I wanted to tell you about my granddaughter. I have the cutest granddaughter. I think you've seen her here, folks. She's 15. And she says to me, Nana, how are you? I almost passed out. That's the first time. And I said, Sierra, I'm starting to feel old. And she laughed for 2 minutes. And I said, what is so funny? And she said, you're just starting. And then because of her, I went to the doctor and I said that I want some birth control pills. And the doctor looked completely shocked at me and he says, you don't need birth control pills. I said, yes, I need them to sleep. And he said, why would you need birth control pills to sleep at your age? I said, because I put them in my granddaughter's juice every morning. And I think just one more, because we got so much good comedy coming up. I saw this, there was a woman on the road, probably from Laguna Woods, and her car said, Jesus saves. But meanwhile, she was road raging, everybody, flipping them off and yelling and screaming. So the cop stopped her, and the cop said to her, she said to the cop, what did I do wrong? Why did you stop me? And he says, first of all, we figure you're in a stolen car. Oh, one more. This lady was getting so much welfare that the social worker came to see why. And it turned out she was 27 years old, she had 10 kids. And the guy says to her, what are your kids' names? She says, George. He said, they're all named George? She said, yes. And he says, what do you do when you want him to come to dinner? He says, George, I just say, George, come to dinner, and they all come. And he says, well, we think you're making too much money. What do you do if you just want one or two of them to come? She said, oh, then I use their last names. Thank you very much. And I want to tell you about our new comedians. You haven't seen them before. And there's a Brian April and Elisa Gilbert. And Brian is a stand-up comedian, voice actor, and motivational speaker who performs across America and for comedy clubs, businesses, churches, and it goes on and on. He's a clean comedian. He shared the stage with some of the biggest names, and he's appeared on NBC and many TV shows. He's coast to coast funny. He's best known for his high energy comedy and impressions. He's been called the man with 1,000 voices. And he's going to come out as our headliner. But prior to him, we've got Lisa Gilbert, who's performed at many comedy clubs, such as the world famous Comedy Store, where she's recognized as one of the best comedians. She's a favorite of the Madhouse Comedy Club. And I heard she just won the Funniest Housewife. So anyway, I'm thrilled to death to have them both. Let's give them a great welcome, and come on out, Lisa. Yeah, everything works.
This is my mic. Hi, everybody. How y'all doing? Man, this is a nice crowd. I mean, I can't see all of you. But if there's any indication of the ones that I can't see, y'all are good looking back there. Real good looking. I'm glad to be here tonight. I'll tell you why. Because at home, I have 7-year-old triplets.